Next up is E2Gold. I think one of the smaller companies joining this conference. They're, I think, around the 5 million market cap. They have a small resource around, I think, 325 ounces at 1.67 gram. But they have a 15-kilometer trend. They are exploring, or they will be exploring. And I'll give the word to the company. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. Welcome today. E2Gold continues the Canadian jurisdictions here today. We have a rather large early-stage exploration property in north central Ontario, in between Timmins and Hemlo, so good jurisdiction. We will talk about, we are early-stage exploration. We will talk about the broader property package. It's a rather compelling story, but if you just take away a few things today, this is the elevator pitch here. We're in the right neighborhood. We're in an area that has an exciting bit of gold geology, halfway in between Hemlo, which has produced some 70 million ounces of gold, 24 million ounces of gold, and Timmins over on the east along the same structure. We have the right foundation. We have a starter resource, all shallow, 328,000 ounces of gold, which has given us a bit of focus on our exploration. I'll interject here. We are an early company. We've only been publicly traded for less than a year and a half now, since early 2021. And that resource provides some sort of organization for us. But we have an 80-kilometer long property package that is centrally located. So we have a lot of things to look at here, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that. We have the right team. We have a proven track record. I've been involved in the discovery or building of some 7 million ounces of gold over the years in my career throughout the Western Hemisphere, and we're trying to do it again here with E2Gold. And then finally, the right plan. We're not intending to become miners. Our intent is to build a sizable enough gold deposit to interest a major and then sell. That's our exit strategy. Before we get into the project itself, a little bit about our share structure. We have 108 million shares issued and outstanding. 15% of those shares are held by insiders or founders. I'll back up again, interject myself again. I'm a co-founder of the company along with my wife and daughter. And my daughter helps run the company. She's president and I'm CEO. In addition, though, to the insiders, we have 27% funds. We're rather proud of that significant holding in such an early stage company. But that's led by Crescat Capital out of Denver, but it includes a number of European and American funds as well. AIS out of Connecticut, Commodity Discovery Fund here in Europe, Bally and Rab Capital, to mention a few of them. So we're proud of that, and we have a lot of support in our activities. You can see from the share price chart down in the lower right, we peaked in between the 25 and 30 cent period last fall before hit the fan, and pretty soon we are where we are today at a $5 or $6 million market cap. So a little bit more about where we're located. You can see our flagship Hawkins project in sort of the center of the map there. As I said, 80-kilometer long property package situated between the Timmins mining camp in the east and the Hemlo district in the west, just east of Lake Superior, the northern part of Lake Superior there. That is where we're focused. Most of our efforts will be there. We have a second project, the Bandor project, located west of Lake Superior, west of Thunder Bay, which is going to see a minor bit of work on that project a little later this summer probably. And we will tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. Both of these projects have a resource estimate, so to speak. On Hawkins, it is a 43-101 compliant inferred resource for 1.65 grams per ton, average grade for 328,000 ounces, as I mentioned, hosted in 6.2 million tons, all at surface, right? Starting from surface down to about 150 meters depth. Open at depth still, open along strike. And then the Bandor project has a couple of historic resources on it from distal past work. Those have not been tested or really looked at in a few decades. So likewise, the McKinnon Zone resource is based upon 40-year-old data, Falcon Bridge drilling. So both of these provide some value-added activities for our group. Come on, move along. There we go, sorry. So let's hone in a little bit more on the Hawkins project. We own most of a greenstone belt. You can see the property package on the right-hand side of the map. As I said, an 80-kilometer long property package. The important thing here is that it is in a greenstone belt that has seen very little work on this project over the last 100 years, whereas the Timmins camp has been producing gold for 100 years, Hemlo for 50 years. Most of the other major mining districts in eastern Canada, Ontario, Quebec, also been around for 100 years. The McKinnon Zone was discovered, and you can see the McKinnon Zone is in the central Hawkins corridor. We label the different property packages. We'll focus in on the central Hawkins corridor. That's going to see most of our attention this summertime. We do have an active boots on the ground exploration program underway as we speak to help develop our next bit of drill targets. We focused in for our first 12 to 13 months on the McKinnon Zone to test that zone. As it hadn't been drill tested since the 1980s, we wanted to get our own version of this, and we spent most of 2021 and earliest 2022 to get our own drilling underway there and completed. So we completed 13,000 meters of drilling in that period of time, both in the zone as well as below it, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Basically, though, this is ripe for discovery. Our goal is to find that first serious gold deposit. This is like walking into the Timmins camp in 1925, a few years before gold was seriously discovered there, but with the added tools that we have today to help us find more gold, both in knowledge and geophysical tools and geochemistry. So this is where we sit today, and it's a big property package, and this is where we're trying to take it. Has all the ingredients of a classic gold greenstone belt in eastern Canada, and for that matter, in the similar type of belts in the world. All right, there we go. So this is the side view of the McKinnon Zone. The purple represents the inferred resource. As you can see, it's right at surface down to, on an average, about 150 meters. A few places a little deeper than that. Our goal by the end of last year was to see if that footprint of that zone could be improved or increased down at depth. And we did a series of 10 holes down below, aimed to target between 300 and 600 meters, and we were successful at that. We hit gold in every one of them. We hit up to 15 grams per meter over a meter in one hole. We hit up to 66 meters of anomalous gold, quarter of a gram, in our deepest hole. So we showed the alteration in geology continued at depth, and that's what the limits of that red line down below the purple zone. So we've showed the potential for growth there. Worth noting, those squares are 250 meters on a side, so each of those drill holes are probably 300 meters apart. So it's still early days, exploratory nature still, but we certainly have not closed this off. What's also interesting, though, is as you move east and west along this zone, we don't see any drilling whatsoever. It's virtually virgin territory as far as a drill hole is concerned. And so if we then step away and look at a little bit further afield here, you can see the McKinnon Zone labeled there on this map. This map is 15 kilometers long. The McKinnon Zone itself is in the eastern half of that zone. We see from geophysics that the geology continues along the trend totally. And we also see in the orange dots high-grade prospects, which also occur on the trend both east and west of this zone. As I said, there's been no drilling to the east and west. We recently completed an IP survey to help guide us for our next drill program, which we anticipate starting in the fall time. and to carry on through winter. So we're already identifying targets, and the geologists now are out there field checking those geophysical anomalies to help further pinpoint those targets.
Maybe pick up and point at the far right.
There we go.
Yeah.
Good, good. Okay, so a little bit further, I don't have a lot to say for the rest of this property, except that we are doing a lot of work on the rest of the broader 80-kilometer property package this summer. This seems to work this way. To the west, on the left-hand side of that slide, the KB claims. It's a 100-square-kilometer property. We've done some geophysics. We've had some filtering of that geophysics to define priority targets. And we will be out prospecting and mapping this summer to help develop targets for the future. Likewise, on the east side of the property claims, we have similar number, actually more geophysical targets. The government completed a airborne mag VTEM survey in 2015, and nobody has evaluated any of those conductors. And it's really a conductor-rich part of the greenstone belt there. So this is, again, early days for this project. And then the final comments here, just what we're planning to do for our Bandor project, west of Thunder Bay, west of the Lake Superior, or west of Lake Superior. As you can see here, 10-kilometer long property. We have 3 targets. 2 of them are historical resources. That is the main zone and the number 4 zone over on the east side of that property package. It hasn't been tested in several decades. We'll get our first look with a few small short drill holes in those. Plus, on the eastern side, the BOE 2780, the BOE 82 target, shown in the blue oval there, has a similar geophysical anomaly as the 2 resources there. So we are interested in testing that as well as part of this summer's drill program. Very small, 1,000-meter program there. So lots of activities this summer on the big property, on the Hawkins property, and then our first baby steps on the Bandor property. Thank you. Any questions? Okay, thanks.
Eric,
go ahead.
Or, yeah, go ahead.
Eric, if this is bought or sold out, is there a local mill nearby that could be used?
Yes. Let's see if I can go back here. I mean, one of the strengths is its location. Here, as you can see from this map, those solid black lines that run through the property, the Hawkins property itself, are railroad lines. You can see the one runs from Hearst up to the north of the Hawkins property down to next door to the Island Gold Mine and the Magino property of Alamos and Argonaut. So there's lots of infrastructure. In fact, the town of Oba is a railroad community, and this aerial shot is the shot of our encampment, so to speak. So the community, the railroad community, is at the top of the picture, and the buildings in the lower part of the picture are our facilities that we're renting from a local lumber company, logging company. Anybody else?
Maybe a short question from my side, Eric. I think you mentioned that the CDF fund is also included in your...
Yes,
so
that's correct.
From Willem Middelkoop?
Yes, correct.
And the Crescent one, which are 2, let's say, pretty well known in the industry. Maybe an open question, why are they interested and what are they seeing then in this really early stage?
Well, I do think they see, first of all, I bring some experience having done this sort of thing before, but I think they see the potential of this that I see and that we see at E2Gold, that we're early days of exploration in a greenstone belt that has been underexplored, and that's hard to get. In fact, the question we often get by some of the majors who we met with but don't know us very well, how did we get such a large property? How is that available? And I don't know, people overlook the area. It's a region, all these, I'll be quick here, but all these area in the center between Hemlo on the west and Timmins on the east, that whole area is an area where developments have all been recent. Cote Lake was discovered 15 years ago. Borden was discovered 15 years ago. Island Gold has been redefined over the past 15 years, and Magino has been redefined over the past 15 years. So there's been a whole lot of new developments in the region in the past decade and a half that weren't known about previously.
Right. Thanks, Eric.
Okay, thanks.